Greetings. Welcome to CSC550 Data Communications and Computer Networks. This is your introductory video where we're going to basically go through and give you a high level, 10,000 foot level as to what we're going to be covering this semester. I am Professor Max Stedman, and I'll be the one facilitating your course this year. Many of you have already taken some course under me and know how I act and what are the things I expect. But I'm looking forward to seeing everyone again. So let's go to proceed, kind of looking at what this course, CSC550, Data Communications and Computer Networks, what's going to be involved. Okay, the purpose of this course is to understand how computer communications works, how data moves across networks, and to make sure that you make things as simple as possible. Anything that we're talking about, look at it in the context is I am at point A, and I need to get some data that I have over to point B. Okay, through point B, I might have to go through different channels, different networks, and different paths through different equipment to get from point A to point B. Everything we're going to be talking about in these next 7 weeks kind of points to that. How do I get information and communicate that securely? We're going to be talking about securely from point A to point B. That is what we're going to be talking about. So just keep that in mind as we go through each week on what we're trying to accomplish. Okay, so let's look at week 1. Okay, so in week 1 here, we're basically looking at the foundations of networking. We're looking at the data communication basics. We're going to look at the type of networks, PAN, LAN, MAN, WAN. Another thing, I'm going to be skipping through. I'm not going to be at this point be giving you any definitions. Most of the stuff or some of the stuff you may already know, but we'll in detail. I guarantee you will know after week 1 what does PAN mean, what does LAN mean, what does MAN mean. We'll be going through those acronyms in detail. Okay, so but network types, network topologies, okay, transmission media, OSI and TCP/IP models. Looking at this diagram, this kind of shows you what I was talking about. Thinking about, I'm basically have some data. How do I get it from this point to this point? Okay, in this particular case, I'm looking at a router. So we're going to look at the basic concepts of networking here in week 1. Okay, in week 2, okay, we're looking at network devices and IP addressing. Okay, we're going to be looking at network devices overview. What are some of the devices that we're going to be using in this network world? Okay, subnetting, think of a network. I need to go from point A to point B. Okay, well, in between there, I might have several subnets, several different paths that I can go through in order to get that data from point A to point B. So this is where we talk about subnetting. Also, default gateway. If for some reason where I want to go is not available, okay, what can I use as a default? And still in order to get my data from point A to point B. And then packet tracing basics. We're going to be implementing a lab each week. This is the packet tracer. So we're going to be looking at that and kind of identifying, even though this says the basics, we'll be introducing that in week 1 and carrying it over into our first lab actually occurs in week 2. So, okay, so network devices, overview, IP addressing, IP version 4, IP version 6. So we'll be talking about that in detail, subnetting, default gateway, packet tracer. Week 3, we're going to be switching and talking about switching, VLANs, and layer 2 concepts. And you say, what is it? Okay, this is going to be some good stuff. Okay, just want to let you know. You will be very, intrigued and an exciting course as far as how the internals of networking works. Okay, so with that, we have switching networks, fundamentals, VLANs and trunking concepts, STP basics, inter VLAN routing, and again, packet tracer labs so that we're going to be having. And even though it just says here in week 3, we have them in every week. So don't let that fool you. Okay. One thing, okay, just go back to make sure that we have this key deliverables, understanding core concept of models. The key deliverables for week 2 is designing an a IP internet protocol plan and build a basic network. Week 3, our key deliverable is configure switches and segments and segment the network. Week 4, we're talking about routing and troubleshooting. Okay, nothing in computer science. You can say, yeah, there's never a situation where you will have no issues. You will have issues regardless of what you're doing. Okay, so in this particular week 4, we're going to talk about routing and what can happen when I'm moving information from point A and getting it to point B. What can go wrong? Okay, and once it goes wrong, how can I fix it? Most important. So here, routing and troubleshooting, we're looking at routing fundamentals, static and dynamic routing, network troubleshooting, and what are some of the tools, pinging things, tricert, show demands. What are some of the things I can use that can pinpoint me to why my packet did not get, or why my information did not get from point A to point B? I sent it point A, but point B never got it. Okay, so that's basically looking at that troubleshooting on what we can do in order to alleviate that. Key deliverable, implement routing and troubleshooting network issues. Okay, so that's what we're basically looking at here in week 4. In week 5, we're going to talk about infrastructure services, DHCP, assigning IP addresses, DNS, name resolution, other core services, configuration and testing, and the packet lab. Again, packet lab is in all 6 weeks. So just showing here, yeah, we're going to have it, but it's in all weeks. Our key deliverable here is configure and test infrastructure services. In week 6, we're going to look at basic network security. How do we secure that network that we're using, that we're going across? We talk about security threats, access control lists, ACLs, firewall basics, securing devices, best practices. The key thing here, our key deliverable, is to secure the network using ACLs and best practices. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So again, this is a lot of information. Okay, it's a lot of information. So one of the things that we're going to be emphasizing is that the way things are built and the way that we're going to be presenting this course to you, each week is going to build on what happened the previous week. So when I get to week 2, I'm depending on what I learned in week 1. Okay. So looking at this is just a kind of a heads up. Don't think that you can skip a week, okay, and make it up. I'll do better on week 3, okay? Because if you don't know what happened in week 2, there's no way you can do week 3, okay? So don't fall into that habit. You have to be able to keep yourself up to date on what's happening in the week that we're currently in and currently working on. Don't think I can skip week 2 and then basically not look at it and understand the concepts when we start in week 3, because you're going to be missing. We're going to develop something in week 2 that you have to have in order to complete week 3. Okay, and that goes all the way through week 1, 2, 3, 4. Each week depends on what happened in previous weeks. Okay, so here, if we look at the key deliverables, excuse me, here when we talk about the end of the course, what's going to happen by the end of the course, you're going to be able to understand key network concepts and terminology. You're going to be able to configure and connect network devices. You're going to be able to troubleshoot common network problems. You're going to be able to implement infrastructure services and basic security. And you're going to be able to design and simulate a secure network solution. Okay. Here, prepare for real-world networking roles and industry certifications. We're going to be presenting, of course, things that you are going to use. This is not one of those, I am basically looking at calculus and I'm not going to use calculus anymore. These are the basics, these are the foundations that you must have in order to move anywhere near as far as jobs and other opportunities you might have that would basically be utilizing data communications and computer networks. Week 7 is going to be a little different. With week 7, what you're going to be concentrating on week 7 is basically each of the labs you did between week 1 and week 6. You're going to make a presentation of that, a visual presentation of that information. I will probably give that to you in week 6, okay, maybe week 5, but definitely by week 6 to have you be able to look at that information and be able to prepare for a video presentation that you're going to make. For those that are in that excellent category, okay, don't be surprised if I going to ask you to basically be able to present that to the faculty of Carolina University, kind of highlighting the things that you've done. Okay, so do the best you can on it, because I'm actually looking for the best of the best of the presentations that were going to be made and be able to present that in the computer science forum and being able to participate that using this course CSC550. So just kind of a heads up. Everyone will do this, even though you may not be making the presentation to the faculty. Okay. So yes, your final network simulation project. Integrate all concepts, implement full network security and services, testing and validation, and then the final presentation. Key deliverable, design, implement, and present a secure end-to-end network. Basically accumulating everything you've done through the various weeks, okay, and taking that information and putting it in a presentation. Okay. As far as each week, what you're going to be doing, okay, and most of this is just the standard Carolina University deliverables that you're normally going to do. Regardless, recommendation is that you should basically get access to the text. Okay. Yeah. Is it absolutely positively necessary? And will I basically be requiring? No, I will not be requiring you to buy the text, but as far as reinforcement of the concepts that are being presented here, they're basically coming from the text. Look at the syllabus that I'll be sending out to everyone for all the details and basically subtopics concerning CSC 550. Okay, but so you'll have a reading assignment that'll basically be showing in the syllabus. You'll have some instructor overview materials that I'll be providing you. If you are online, okay, and rather than being face-to-face, you will have discussion activities. If you're face-to-face, we will not be doing discussion activities, okay, for you. So reading, instructor overviews, discussion if you're online. Everybody gets assignments that you're going to have to turn in. Everybody will get quizzes that you will have to turn in, and everyone will basically doing packet tracer laboratory exercises. Okay, as I said, course is designed that each week builds on the next week. Please don't forget that. Put that in the forefront of your mind. When you even think about, say, oh, well, you know what? I'm running a little late, so I'm just going to skip week 3 that's due on Sunday. No, your recovery is difficult. I'll lay that. Recovery is difficult when you skip a week. Okay, how can you be successful in this class? Just kind of list them out here. Stay engaged each week. Okay, and repeated that 10,000 times. Don't wait until the last minute to complete. Not only labs, don't wait till the last minute to complete your assignment, quizzes, your Cornell notes, okay, which is one of the other things you're going to need to be able to do. Don't wait till last minute. This course is straightforward, but it's challenging, okay? And with that, you can't, I'll just tell you cannot wait till the last minute to do things in this class. Okay. You can't. It's not going to work. Okay. You need to basically, as soon as it's available, you go out there and you start looking at it and putting your plan together of when you're going to do what. Don't wait. Don't get yourself in that trap where you're saying, "Oh, I can do things at the last minute. Oh, it's due on Sunday, so here I am Saturday night, okay, and trying to make everything work." Now, it's not going to happen. I'll just lay that out there to you. Practice packet tracer. Become familiar with that as much as possible. Ask questions whenever something's unclear. Participate actively in discussions. If you are online, you're going to have your discussion questions. Interface with the other your other peers that are basically taking the course, and it is a requirement that you do complete the discussions. Focus on understanding the concepts, okay, not the definitions. What is happening? Yeah, I define TCP and IP. I know what it is, but how do I use them? Okay. Don't just concentrate on getting the definitions, but also getting the concept down pat. That's what you're going to need for any future reference for networking. Okay, so that's the overview. Basically, we defined it here in, course goal, understand network fundamentals, configure and troubleshoot networks, implement infrastructure services and security, and design a secure network using industry standard tools. That is what we're going to be covering over the next 7 weeks, folks. I'll be looking forward. I'm pretty sure that everyone will have a great semester. Anytime you need me, okay, you'll have my phone number. You'll have my email address, okay. Call me up. We'll basically put together basically a work session. Okay. Sometimes I'm not restricted on if we need to get together on Saturday. We need to get together on Friday night. We need to get together after 8 o'clock. We're going to work out, what works best as far as if you run into issues, and when would be the best time for us to get together for quote unquote office hours. Okay. Okay. So that's it for now. I'll be looking up forward to meeting every one of you, and you should be looking forward to getting the first video for week 1. Okay. So see everybody in week 1. Have a good one. Bye.